welcome to the Hajime Inside USA Judo interview series. I am your host, Hannah Martin, and today we're excited to welcome Heidi Moore to the show. She's a sixth Dan black belt and certified athletic trainer. Heidi is an 11-time senior national medalist who's represented Team USA on the world stage. Since 1999, she's led Denver Judo. Am I correct? I hope I am.
Yep, yep, that's right.
And she's the head instructor there. And she's also coached the USA Paralympic Judo Team in London, Rio, Tokyo, and of course, the last one, Paris. So, good morning, Heidi. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm all right. How are you?
Thanks for joining me at such an early time for you. It's like 7 a.m. over there. So, so, thank you. So, let's just start. Let's start at the beginning. How did you first get into judo?
Straight up sibling rivalry. My little brother was doing it, so I had to do it too.
That's just my
Um,
same story too, actually. So,
so yeah, I was 11, and I was in Southern California,
okay.
and my little brother had been doing judo, and he went to a tournament, and he came home with a trophy,
Mhm.
and so I was like, yeah, I need those.
Yeah.
And he quit a year or two later, and here I am, almost 40 years later, still doing it.
That's crazy. This is like literally almost the same story as me. My little brother was doing judo. I didn't like that he got a trophy and I didn't, basically,
Mm.
amongst
Yep,
other things. And here I am still involved in judo, So
yep,
like it's crazy. It's crazy. So let's talk about your time as a competitive athlete. You did share a photo a couple days ago of us. Like I was there, you were
yeah.
there standing in the line with Ronda, Rousey, Kayla Harrison, Nina Kuchel-Kelly. Yeah, so I remember you were still competing when
Hmm.
I think I was just coming out from juniors, and then you
Yep.
were competing. So talk to me about some of your, standout mo memories or, just check your judo journey, really. Like, love
Sure.
to hear it.
So I started, like I said, in Santa Monica, California. And I I was 11 and my coach was very much into making sure that we were super tough. And
Mhm.
so we were really tough kids. So he took us always to junior nationals and we won a bunch of medals and it was great. And then when I went away to college, I went to Reed College in Oregon. And they started taking me to seniors and I won my first senior medal in 96. I'm
Mhm.
letting everyone know how old I am. And yeah, it really got into my blood, you know how it is. And I was just like, I got to do this. And I worked really hard. And then when I met my husband, I moved out to Colorado and I was able to train at the Olympic Training Center. And so I think that really helped. And plus, my husband had been working with Coach Larry Lee,
Mhm.
who was the Paralympic coach before us.
Mhm.
Well, there was one in between. And so he had picked up a lot of really good stuff, and I was able to work with Larry a little bit, and that really helped my judo. Um, but then I decided we got married in 2000, and I decided in 2001 that we were going to um, have a baby. So in 2003, I got pregnant, and I decided I was going to retire, or in 2002, and then he was born. And then about 4 months after our son was born, senior nationals was in San Diego, and Scott was going to go and fight. And the week before the tournament, he decided that, or he hurt his hip actually, and so he wasn't
Oh,
able to fight. But
okay.
we already had all the tickets and everything, so I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, sure, I'll fight. Why not? I'm fight heavyweight, whatever." And I won a bronze medal, and I
Oh my
got
God. Really
and
cool.
with my 4 month old, and got my medal. And it was an Olympic trials year. It was 2004,
Mhm.
and so I got invited to trials because I was in the top five, and I won the trials, nursing my son in between rounds. Um,
Mhm.
and then, of course, the way the continental allocation process worked, I didn't get to go to the game, so I won the trials, but I
Yeah.
didn't actually get to go. Um, but it got back into my blood, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm back.
Wow.
And I did better after I had my son than I ever did before. And medaled at seniors a bunch of times. I won the U.S. Open. I medaled at Rendezvous. I medaled at Pan Am's, and I got to go to Worlds a couple of times. So that was super cool.
Wow. So you're gonna say like after having your son, this is when like your career really took off. That's
Yeah, I
amazing.
really
I love it.
did. And I was sort of the old lady on the team. I won my first seniors when I was 30.
Wow.
And so they they always put me in with like Rhonda or one of the other teenagers when we went on trips because it's like
That's probably
she's
one
the
of the
grown
things.
up and this person's the teenager. And I'm like, I have nothing to do with this.
This is how I was feeling like last year. I stopped competing last year, but I was like, I'm like the old lady on the trip.
Yeah.
Oh, really am. The
when
mom.
when I got up on the award stand once and realized that the girls on either side of me's age added up to my age, I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I'm think I'm getting toward the end there.
Yeah, you start. I really understand this 100% because I've also competed pretty late. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say my age, but yeah, I did feel the same, and I think it's so cool. I actually didn't know this about you that you had a baby and then you came back. So
Mhm.
that's such a
Yeah.
cool story, and it wasn't really I guess during your time, now it's like more of, it's more acceptable and
Hmm.
you see so many athletes having a baby coming back. But I'm gonna say like during your time, not so many athletes at the time were having a
Yeah,
baby coming
there were a
back.
few,
Mhm.
like I think Valerie Gautier had
Yep.
a baby and
Yeah.
then came back.
Mhm.
And so there were a few here and there, but yeah, that definitely it's
Yeah.
much better for female athletes now. And like um they made a real push to make sure that the moms at the Olympics and Paralympics had access to their kids so they could nurse if necessary or just be with them. Um, we had one of our Paralympic athletes lives in Sweden. His wife is Swedish, and they had a baby last year.
Mhm.
And so during the Paralympics, she was able to stay with the baby
Oh
until
wow.
like the day before competition. She stayed in the village.
Okay. So
Um,
the baby could come in the village and stay.
yeah, yeah, they brought the baby in. I mean, I think they stayed mostly in a hotel just because it's better facilities and whatever.
Yeah. Mhm.
But yeah, she was able to bring the baby in if she wanted to, and
Okay.
it
Oh
was
wow.
adorable. That baby, they brought her to her first competition and got her a credential and had a picture of the baby, and it said baby on it was her role.
Oh,
Like
that's
as
so
coach
cute.
or athlete, it said baby. So
Wow.
that was pretty cute.
That is really cute. Yeah, there's a lot more, support now for sure for
Yeah.
moms. Seen this now in the last
Mhm.
years and also have experienced it well as well. So it's like
Yeah.
really, really great. And it's really motivating too. It's to know like life doesn't, stop because you're a mom. You can
Yeah.
still reach your goals or try to reach your goals.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that you can do both. You don't have to
exactly.
be just
Yeah.
a mom or just an athlete
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
just a whatever.
Yeah, you can
You,
do many things. And this is like this, not just being a mom, but anything. You can be a student, you can have a career and still work on being an athlete. So it's like, yeah, not just or a dad, maybe,
yeah,
but it's a little bit different for the
a little
dad.
bit
They're
easier
all
for the
funny at
dads.
the same time, but yeah, but we can throw that in there for the dads out
Yeah.
there. I'm a dad. Okay, let's speak about, I'm really interested. We're here today because I really wanted to talk to you about, your role, coaching role in para judo. So you just there was a training camp last week
There
in
was.
at your club, right? So
Mhm.
you're now deeply rooted in and involved in para judo. So how did this path start for you?
So my husband is Scott Moore, and he's a three-time Paralympic medalist. He was the first American to win a gold medal in the Olympics or the Paralympics in 2000. And I just sort of got sucked in, I guess.
Yeah.
I would travel and watch him compete, and then I traveled and helped out with the team, and then they started letting me come to camps and be a training partner. And then um, after Scott retired, he went as an assistant coach in Beijing,
Mhm.
and then he was given the full-time coaching position in 2009. And
Okay.
I sort of fell in as the assistant coach.
Mhm.
And then just as the years have passed, we've sort of leveled out. So we're both the sort of more head coaches.
Mhm.
So yeah, it just sort of was a slow progression and just sort of happened organically. And now all of a sudden I'm the woman. If you have a question about para judo,
Yeah,
give me
you
a
are
call.
you are the one to talk to. I suppose that's why you are really, I guess your first experience wasn't really, you were just involved with your husband and his career. So you learned a lot about like what it's like to, live with a visually impaired athlete and then to see how they train and everything like this, because of course it's different. So yeah, I guess you learned the best way, right?
Yeah.
To
Yeah. And actually, I'm going to say, you said it's different. Well, it's really not.
Mhm.
And that's one of the really cool things about para judo is there are very little changes between able-bodied judo and VI judo.
Yeah, yeah.
The only major changes that touch start, but
Mhm.
they do the same techniques, the same
Mhm.
match times. They use IJF rules
Yeah,
when we can understand them,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
and whatever it is this week. Um,
Yeah.
but it's really the same sport.
Yeah, of
And
course. Yeah, yeah.
coaches, they'll get a disabled athlete and they'll be like, "Oh my God, what do I do?" It's like you teach them judo. It's just
Yeah,
judo.
yeah. It's just judo. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I worded that correctly, so I have to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
No, no.
But,
That's it's actually that's like the big thing for Scott and I is
mm,
Scott has always said he doesn't want to be thought of as a blind athlete. He wants to be
mm,
thought of as an athlete who happens to be blind.
yeah,
And I think that's a great way of looking at it. That's
sure.
not his defining characteristic.
Yeah, and that's like you said, I guess I had a couple questions on how you approach and develop trust and communication with visually impaired athletes, but you just said you just treat nothing is different than if you're working
Yeah.
with
I
able
mean,
body.
it's not it's not that nothing is different, but the judo is not different. The core of it's not different. You
Yeah.
sometimes have to be a little bit creative on how you teach something,
Mm,
or you have to learn to be a lot more descriptive. You can't say do this
yeah.
or my hand does this. You have to say I'm pulling with my right hand with my elbow up and I turn my pinky toward the ceiling when you're teaching, or
Mm,
I'm stepping to the outside with my left foot instead of just like this
yeah.
because it's the same as a blind person asks you where something is and you point. It doesn't do anything.
Of course.
Um,
Yeah.
so, and sometimes that can be a little frustrating because you have different people who've lost different levels of vision at different points in their life. And you're like, okay, they're not getting it. Okay, what's a different way to phrase it? And it really
Mhm,
makes you think about how you're teaching, which
mhm.
I think makes me a better instructor overall because I have to be more creative in how I work on teaching things to
Yeah.
the point of, having the athlete get down on the mat and feel my feet when I step, or physically taking their arm and putting it in the place it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same judo, just you got to be, like I said, a little creative. And coaches ask me all the time, "Oh, how do you teach a blind athlete?" I said, "Well, you got to work with the athlete. Everybody's different. I mean, how do you teach an able-bodied athlete?
It's
Everybody's
same.
different, you
Everyone's
know?"
different.
Yeah.
Like you made a great point because actually I will have to say I'm one of those people that like if I look at the technique, I might not get it, but I have to feel the technique. So
Hmm.
I would have the coach or someone has to like do do the move on me, and then I would
Yeah.
be able to figure it out because I could feel why instead of
Mhm.
someone saying like move your arm right or left, and I'm like, wait, what's right or left? You know?
Yeah. Yep. Well, and that's another great tip for any instructors who have blind athletes is use them as your uki when you're teaching, because then they can feel what you're doing as you're saying it. Um, so we'll either do that or have one of your upper students doing it to the blind athlete while you're teaching it.
Mhm.
So they can get a tactile sense of what's going on as well as hearing you explain it.
Yeah, yeah, that's really great advice. So, if anyone's listening, it's really, really, really good. So, I would like love to talk to you about, you've been to 4 Olympics now as a coach. Am I correct?
Hmm. Yep.
Talk to me about this experience. So, let's go through all of them and then we'll do Paris last because that one's the most fresh one. But tell me about, each Olympics and, how it was special for you or the athletes, the good moments. Of course, like there was also Tokyo, which was completely different, right?
Hmm.
Hard. I think I hear some stories. So, yeah, go through your experience as a, para judo Olympic coach.
Yeah. So, on a personal level, going to London was especially important to me because I got to march into the stadium. I won the Olympic trials myself twice and didn't get to go either time. And
Yeah.
so I never got to have that experience.
Yeah.
And so getting to march into the stadium with the rest of the team, and you've got your blue blazer on, and
Mhm.
it's a really amazing experience,
Yeah.
getting to and doing it as a coach doesn't change how exciting it is to do that for the first time. Um, Now, that I've done it a couple of times, it's just like anything, it's old hat. It's like, oh, we got to go stand in line for a half an hour, and then we got to do this, and then we got to get on the bus, and then we got to, but it's still, I mean, it's amazing to feel the amount of energy and enthusiasm in the crowd.
Mhm.
And one of the things that's really grown as as I've coached the Paralympics, is that there are more and more people who are aware of what the Paralympics are.
Mhm.
Like the USOPC has made a great effort to include Paralympics and everything.
Yeah.
So now when I say I'm a Paralympic coach, people understand that more.
Mhm.
And they're like, oh, can I watch you on TV? People get excited about that. And I think that's really great. And that's one of the things that, being involved has really helped me try and help other people see that these people are elite athletes as much
Yeah.
as anybody who doesn't have a physical disability.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, London was my first one, and that was very cool. It was really a lot of fun. We sort of end up sort of with me coaching the women more and Scott coaching the men more, and Ed Liddy's there sometimes. So it sort of depends on who you end up coaching.
Mhm.
And in London, I did get to coach the women. We didn't win any medals that year. Um, and then in Rio, I was lucky enough to coach Cristela Garcia,
Mhm.
and she won a bronze medal. And that is one of the most amazing experiences to be mat side. I mean, I can't even imagine what it would be like as an athlete, but
Mhm.
just to be mat side and to see your athlete win a medal in the Paralympics, and the crowd goes crazy and she's crying, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, and then Tokyo, like you said, was very different because it was during COVID. So we were really stuck in the village or the venue. Those were the only places we got to go, and the Kodokan for training.
And there was no
Um,
spectators, right? Doesn't
and
that
there were no spectators, which,
Yeah.
yeah, is
Just
kind of a
said like
bummer.
the crowd was going crazy in Rio. I think
Yeah,
I spoke to Christella last year and she told me she beat the Brazilian, I think, in the
she
bronze.
did. Mhm.
They were still going crazy in the crowd. You know, they
Yeah,
love judo and like
yep.
hearing that and then going from she didn't go to Tokyo, I believe, but
She
I
did
think
not.
she went from Rio winning a medal in Rio and then going to Tokyo and like hearing nothing in the
Yeah.
crowd. That would just be like I think like I don't know how that would just it's just not the Olympic experience that you
Yeah.
are kind of used to.
Christella was really cool about the whole thing. They people have asked her a lot of times, what was it like beating a Brazilian on home soil? And she said, I just chose to believe that the crowd was cheering for me.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So she said, I just took that and decided that they were supporting me as much as they were supporting the other athlete.
Mhm.
But yeah, going to Tokyo and not having, I mean, a lot of the para tournaments and a lot of judo tournaments in different parts of the world don't draw a lot of audience. So we're not unused to
We're
going
used
to
to it being
places
pretty quiet.
pretty quiet. Yep.
Fortunately, maybe it will
So
change, but
yeah. So Tokyo, it just was more like what we're more used to. Not
yeah,
a lot of people in there. Um, and then coming back to Paris, and the French love judo.
yeah. Mhm.
And the amount, I mean, the stadium was packed and they were waving flags and cheering, and every match they cheered and they were excited. So it was really nice getting that energy back into the stadium.
Yeah. And the USA, captured two medals.
Two
And
medals. We took two athletes.
Mhm.
Liana Mutia won a silver medal, and then Cristela Garcia won her second bronze medal.
Yeah, so it was really successful, really.
It was. It was.
It's really great to get some, medals back,
Yep.
medals in judo,
Well,
from USA. So it was really great. And
yeah, it's
the,
especially great when the ladies are doing it.
the late,
It's like
yeah. Mhm.
the ladies are the ones who qualified. They're the ones who put in the work, and they came home, with the medals. So
Yeah.
the guys got to pick it up.
Let's talk about the qualification journey for the Paralympic Games. Because I am going to say I only know, of course, the process for, able-bodied. So is it the same? Do you have to go to Olympic
Yep.
qualifying events and they have a ranking system? So yeah, how exactly does it work? How many events are there? How long is the qualification? Things like that.
Sure. So it is the same.
Mhm.
It's the same. We go to tournaments, you get points, and it's qualification by name, just like with
Yeah.
the the Olympics. So like if you lose an athlete, you don't get to put someone else in their place. They just move the
Mhm.
next person up in the ranking.
Okay.
Um, and there have been more and more events as the years have gone by. When I first started out, there were maybe two or three qualifying events in a year. Like there was Pan Am Championships, and then there was like maybe one or two other events.
World
Um,
Championships too, as
World
well.
Championships, yeah. And then there'd be like one World Cup kind of event.
Mhm.
And as Parajudo has grown, a lot more countries are taking an interest in it. And so there are more and more events. I think we're up to like six or eight in a year, which is a lot,
A lot. Yeah. It's
considering where we came from.
yeah.
Um, this year being the year immediately after games, we don't have a world championships.
Mhm.
So it's a 3 year qualifier.
Mhm.
Um, and our Pan Ams will be in December, and then starting January 26th is when we'll really start to push. Of course, this is a different cycle because it's in LA. We get a full team anyway.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
have to qualify per se.
Yeah.
All the athletes do have to go to at least one A level event
Mhm.
um, before they can be eligible to participate. So it's not like we can just grab someone off the street and throw a gi on them and say, "Hey, go to the
Okay.
Paralympics."
Okay. Yeah.
So they,
They
they
have
they
to
have
be
to
like,
be,
on the
yeah,
ring, in the system,
somewhere, yeah.
on the ranking
Um,
list somewhere, maybe, at
yeah,
least.
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's pretty much exactly the same. A lot of what IBSA, which is the International Blind Sports Association, and they're the governing body for international parajudo,
Yeah.
they model a lot of what they're doing on the IJF, and more as we go along, which has its benefits and it has its negatives as well.
Mhm.
But a lot of the things we do are very much the same.
Yeah, I've a lot of events are like piggybacked off, like, so for example, like I've been to I think like Azerbaijan, and then I think like Baku Grand Slam, and then right after it would be IPSA
Yeah.
Grand Prix, I think they call it, or something. And also I was in Turkey like last year, I think it was 2024. Yeah.
Hmm.
Also, as well, there was also an event there, and I met some of the USA athletes there. So,
Yeah.
athletes there, and so I've noticed, in the last years, like there is a lot more. Like there was this two,
Hmm.
and there, I think that was last year. Like there was one in Baku and one in Turkey, and I don't know
Yeah.
where else, but I think maybe Japan. I'm gonna say, maybe I'm wrong, but I remember there's one more. Maybe
I
Uzbekistan.
don't remember. They all start to run together after a
Uzbekistan?
while.
Am I going
Um,
crazy? Uzbekistan? Maybe?
Could be
No.
as Uzbekistan. That sounds right.
I don't know.
Um,
I know
they
I
they
was.
send us over to the stands a lot. There's
I know.
there's a
We're
lot
always there.
there's a lot of parajudo over there, so we seem to end up going to Kazakhstan or Azerbaijan and Turkey,
Kazakhstan,
and
Uzbekistan, judo too. It's
yeah,
like all the tournaments are hosted now over there. You're like,
yeah.
great.
Um, but yeah, they've been piggybacking them on, and I think that's really great
Mhm.
because the it gives the para programs some exposure,
Mhm.
and it allows the para athletes to see the able-bodied athletes, and it allows the able-bodied athletes to see the para athletes,
Mhm.
and sometimes even work out in the same areas. And then it's financially good for the host country because
Yeah.
they get to
Same
run them back to
arena,
back.
same mat.
And I think that's, yeah, one of the reasons we're able to have more is because some of the countries are going, oh, hey, yeah, sure, let's add 2 more days and
Yeah.
just, you know, we don't have to drag the mats in and out again. We don't, I mean, they
Yeah.
changed the signage and everything, but they have the venue, they have everything set up. So that's
Yeah.
been really good.
Yeah. But it's so exciting that we have the Olympics on our on home soil. Like it's just
I'm from LA. It's just like, whatever. I'm also old enough to remember the '84 Olympics. So
Oh, okay.
I've
Okay.
already been through an LA Olympics.
Wow, that's yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. I don't even know I wasn't born yet.
Thanks. Thanks, Anna.
Sorry. I can totally edit this out, so it's fine.
No, it's all right.
Uh,
No,
um,
I'm going to be 50 this year. I'm not,
oh, Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great. That's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
age, I think like we shouldn't be, I don't know, depressed or sad about getting older. It's like a privilege getting older, It's like special.
Yeah.
It's
Well, and to be getting
life. It's
older and to
nice.
still be on the mat is that's the best part, is that
Yeah.
I could be
Yeah.
almost 50 and still be training and coaching and
Yeah.
whatever. On a personal level, I was diagnosed with breast cancer about 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And so I was off the mat for a while, and I'm finally to a point where I'm really feeling better and actually able to go out there and work with the para athletes and teach and just
Yeah.
feel like myself again.
Yeah,
So,
like I can't imagine it, but I see you're smiling and you look great. And yeah, I didn't want to mention it's really so
mhm.
much, but like it's really, really great to hear this. And like you really look fantastic. And
Well, thank you.
yeah, so it's
Yeah.
really good
Well,
to have you around and then back and on the mats and
yeah. Well, and it gives you, I mean, like any athlete, I've gone through surgeries and injuries and whatever. But going through something like that, a life-threatening illness, um, it really gives you a perspective on understanding what other people are going through sometimes. So if an athlete comes to you and says, I'm having this thing going on in my family or personally, you're able to be more um, empathetic about it. But the other thing is, for me, I'm not a cancer survivor. I'm not any of that. I had cancer and now I don't. And I'm just moving on with my life and doing my judo. So it was just a little blip as far as I'm concerned.
Little, but I don't, I don't know, little, but
Little,
yeah,
yeah, it's relative, I guess.
yeah, but yeah, I think it does give you definitely a different perspective on everything really in general. And
Hmm.
judo is good thing about judo is there, judo is always there, the
Hmm.
good and the bad, and it's there to pick you up and
Hmm.
make you feel good. So this is really
Yeah,
what I love the sport, the
yeah,
family, the community around it, what it makes, how it makes you feel, how it makes
yeah,
us feel. I think
yeah,
coach also like you're really invested in all the athletes' lives and you're making a difference in people's lives. So like it really like having judo in your life, I think also like just
yeah.
yeah.
The outpouring of support when I was
Yeah.
diagnosed from the judo community was overwhelming.
Mhm.
You don't always think of yourself as a known person in your community. You're just plugging along, doing your thing,
Yep.
training or coaching or whatever. And then all of a sudden I had so much love coming in. It was just an amazing feeling to realize that I do touch people sometimes and do
Yeah,
affect their lives. So
you do like I mean I you're like really known. You're known. You and like your husband like like the judo world knows you and like
I always figured it's just because I'm obnoxious, but maybe it's more
I
positive than
I
that.
don't have this in my head that that you are obnoxious though, but maybe it's because I was
No,
young and I
I
had
don't
like
think I'm obnoxious. I think I'm enthusiastic and I fight for what I think is right.
yeah.
So I fight for the inclusion of my para athletes. I fight for,
Yeah.
the things that I feel need to happen. So
Yeah, and we need someone like you doing that. So it's very good you're doing this. I would like to ask, what's next for you and the para athletes?
sure. So we're planning on having at least one more camp like we had this past week. We've had two now.
Hmm.
This past week was really great. We had 18 blind and visually impaired athletes out, including two members of the Canadian para team. And we did two-a-days for a couple of days, and then we had a bunch of the athletes participate in the Rocky Mountain State Games tournament. And it's great to see people who are like, oh, I'm doing judo, and then they're like, oh my God, this is awesome, let's do it.
Yeah.
um, so of course they come up to altitude and that's no fun, but you know um,
Yeah.
but we're planning on doing another one. We've identified some really good prospects, and
Mhm.
so we want to bring them out for another camp.
Mhm.
We want to make sure that we're following up with the athletes that we do know,
Mhm.
and making sure they're getting what they need in terms of support and training and competition. And then hopefully we'll be able to take a good number of them down to Brazil in December for the Pan American Championships and
Right.
sort of see where everybody's at.
Yeah.
Um, we're really trying to rebuild our ranks. A lot of our Paralympic athletes have gotten older or they've moved on in their lives. And so people are retiring. And we're really looking to find some more folks, and not just for LA, but for moving forward.
Yeah.
We had two young men at this camp who are both high school wrestlers. They're 18. Are they going to be ready for LA? Probably not. Are they going to be ready for 2032? Maybe.
Mhm.
So we want to be building for the future as well.
Yeah.
Um, so if anybody knows of any blind or visually impaired athletes that they'd like to send our way, we'd love to have them. um,
Hear that call, everybody.
yeah. At juniors a couple of weeks ago, Dave Allen wanders around with his microphone and like talks to
Mhm.
people. And
Mhm.
he's like, "Hey, it's Heidi and Scott. What's up?" And I'm like, "Hey, if you have any visually impaired athletes," like Scott's like, "Were you just advertising para judo?"
Yeah,
Yep.
we're recruiting,
Yeah.
Recruiting. Good. Last question to end this wonderful interview, which I'm really happy you took the time to speak with me. What does judo mean to you today? After all these years as a coach, athletes, advocates, yeah, what does judo mean to you?
Um, judo is, I think I said earlier, the thing that I love about judo the most is that it is for everybody and that it's accessible to everybody. Like at this last tournament, we had 12 blind athletes, including one deaf blind athlete. And we also had a woman with cerebral palsy who doesn't walk.
Mhm.
And she did a couple of matches off her knees. It is something that is a lifetime sport. It's not something that, you do as a kid or in college and then you look back. My best years were when I was in college because it's always evolving. Your role in judo is always evolving, and you can be as active and involved as you want to well into your 60s and 70s. Our team leader, Mark Vink, was out this past week and he's in his 70s, and he still gets on his gi on and gets out on the mat and does better push-ups than a lot of the young athletes. Um, and it's done so much for me in my life. I've gotten to go to so many places. I met my husband in judo. I've been able to run this club now for 20 years. It's been so fulfilling. And now, as an older person and a coach, I'm able to give back a little bit of what I got from the sport. Um, so yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
how to,
yeah. How do you sum that all up in one word? You can't.
yeah,
And you just said
yeah,
everything like very beautifully, and I totally agree with you. I think that's the best way to say it, really. Like, there's not one word to describe like what like life. It's like life, It's like
yeah,
it's a big part of your life, part of my life,
yeah.
part of many people's lives. It's
Yeah, and in October this year, I'll have been doing judo for 39 years, and that's
yeah,
longer. I've been doing judo longer than I didn't do judo.
yeah, and that's
So
like what is life without judo now,
yeah, exactly. A lot less aches and pains, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. Every time, we talk about like doing randori, like my knees start screaming. I'm just like,
Mhm.
I wanted to, it
There's a
felt so good.
there's a t-shirt floating around on Facebook right now that says judo because waking up pain-free is overrated.
That's true.
So,
But since I stopped doing competitive judo, I do feel a difference. It's great, actually. It's
mhm.
the less aching. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know. Um, but really, thank you for your time. I hope you have a
Yeah.
great day over there
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Colorado, and best of luck to you and all the athletes. And we'll be seeing you, yeah, around.
All right.
Thanks.
Great. Thank